Hey, what's up everybody? It's me, Keats, back with a brand new video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the latest Goosebumps book, Goosebumps House of Shivers, Scariest Book Ever. Okay, it was a pretty fun read. And R.L. Stein, does he still have it? Is he still, he's in his 80s now, does he still have the creep factor and the silly factor? Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So, with all that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the review. Scariest Book Ever is the first book in the new Goosebumps House of Shivers series. The last series was Slappy World, that has ended, and as we know, Slappy was the star of that series. It was stories that was basically told by Slappy, and it was kind of like Tales of the Crypt, or where like Slappy would interrupt in the middle of the story and make jokes and stuff. Um, but this new series, from what I read, R.L. Stein is planning on focus on writing new villains, new stories, going a whole different direction that Goosebumps hasn't been in a while. So, scariest book ever. How does it feel as a Goosebumps book? Well, the protagonists are, of course, 12, so we have that. Um, the protagonists are two kids, twins, named Billy and Betty, who are being dropped off by their parents who are like on a business trip to London to their uncle's house who lives like in the middle of nowhere near a forest known as the Wayward Forest. So, and I'm gonna try not to spoil too much here, but I am be discussing like the plot of the book, but I'm gonna leave some stuff, secrets and everything, right? So they get dropped off to their uncle's house. They're told that their uncle's eccentric, he's a bit of an oddball. They get there. The parents like literally like drop them off, and then they knock on the door. Like nobody comes to answer. So the parents are like, "Well, we gotta go catch our plane. You kids just wait here. Your uncle will show up at any time." And they just leave them. They're like, the kids are totally not sure if this is even their uncle's house, right? So they're left there. Finally, guy shows up. You know, he introduces himself as their uncle, and then he tells them that somebody stole a book that is known as the scariest book ever, and that if it's opened, it will unleash evil upon the world. So he wants to take the kids into a dangerous forest that's filled with creatures like the one on the cover photo is called a man bat, and a whole bunch of different creatures. Like there's bears that want to rescue you if you get in their territory. There's giant locusts, giant moths. There's crows that eat each other when they're born. It's all crazy, a whole crazy forest. So of course the kids get dragged into this mess. Um, Turns out, guy's not even their uncle. They find a person who claims to be their uncle. There's a whole thing going on where where people are just claiming to be their uncle, and there's a bunch of people like looking for this book. Um, and that gets a bit silly. But it's Goosebumps. Goosebumps, the best kind of Goosebumps book, is one that has like a good balance of scary and silly. Since the books are aimed at younger kids and everything, you want that balance. So the book is very silly. It's very fun to read. There's nothing really scary in the book, Um, at least to me. It's just all silly, and that's not necessarily bad, but uh, I was kind of like, kind of getting tired of the silly. Uh, Kind of wishing for something like, give me something scary because there wasn't like, I love the kind of twist that R. Stein does, where like at the end of a chapter, he makes it sounds like something horrible happens, right? And then it turns out that it wasn't like what the character thought. Like in one of the last books I read, It's Alive, It's Alive. There's a scene where the character walks into a kitchen and they see like what appears to be blood on the floor, and of course the chapter like ends right there, right? And the next chapter it's revealed that it's actually ketchup. That's the kind of twist I like, where like it looks like something horrible happened, and it turns out like no, but that's not, and then something horrible does happen. There's some twists in this book, but nothing like that. But discussing one things that has apparently been stated about this series that Arlstein wants to introduce new villains, and in this one we get introduced to a villain known as the Bookworm, who basically reminds me everything from his mannerism reminds me of a villain from like all the old mustachio villains that would twirl the mustache, and the Bookworm really reminds me of that type of villain, which was kind of made it more fun. I'm like, okay, that's pretty fun. And then another sort of villain shows up called the Collector, and honestly, I think it was a lot of going back and forth, like who's the real Uncle Window, who's this, who's that, what's is the book actually real? Was the whole thing going on through the story. Not gonna give anything away. It is a fun read. I enjoyed it very much. I'm looking forward to the next one, Goblin Monday, which is coming out next year. But anyways, guys, this is gonna be it for this review. Just want to do a little quick review on this one. It's if you have kids that want to get Goosebumps and you want to start them off with a new series, go ahead. Start them off with this or start them off with the original. You know, either way, it's a good entry point to Goosebumps. And I hope you all enjoy this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.